On the eve of 9/11, the Biden administration getting blasted for working in tandem with the Taliban, the same terror group that 20 years ago gave safe harbor to al-Qaeda. The White House even praising them as the professional and businesslike, while 100 Americans are still stuck in Afghanistan. Meanwhile, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki saying today this about accountability.
I'm curious if there have been any offers of resignation from anyone in the chain of command or anyone involved in the decisions with the evacuation.
No.
So the president still has confidence in those folks?
Yes.
So, Dana, we are seeing this break between generals, leadership in the Pentagon, and veterans of the Afghanistan war in the past couple of weeks as people try to process how this happened to end this way.
Well, it's interesting also just that if somebody has something of yours that is of value and you need to get it back, but they hold all the cards, you're going to have to be nice to them until you get it back. And it could be that one of the reasons they have to use words like businesslike is because they want to make sure that they can get the Americans or green card holders or the people who helped us in the war out, which is probably obviously not happening. You've seen some of the pictures today. We know what the Taliban is doing. I've actually also am in touch, as I know a lot of you are, with some of these groups, private groups, former veterans and others that are trying to get people out. And the Taliban is hunting them. Yeah. And they know that. And so it's like they're one step ahead of the Taliban to try to get this done. But they also are holding their fire because they need the cooperation of the State Department in order to help them. Now, you pay a price for not having anybody on the ground. It's one of the things that they keep saying at the State Department and at the White House is that, well, we don't have anyone on the ground, so we're trying our best. And I just think, this is such a debacle. I cannot believe that it's happened. And I was just. We on Newsroom, we had the interview with the interpreter, Carl, and we keep track of his progress. I mean, he is safe, but there's just very little that can be done outside of these outside groups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Jesse, if you look at 9/11 tomorrow and the situation that the United States is in with very little leverage, if any, over the Taliban, you have people looking back on the past 20 years, looking back at the actions of the Obama administration, the fact that some of the people they swapped for Bo Bergdahl are now back in charge. We were told by the Biden administration that they would not make it back to the battlefield. Let's take a look at what Jen Psaki said about it in 2015 and get you to react.
Was it worth it? Absolutely. We have a commitment to our men and women serving overseas or serving in our military, defending our national security every day, that we're going to do everything to bring them home if we can. And that's what we did in this case.
Jesse.
Look at the lengths that we went to bring back a deserter. We did not go to those same lengths to bring back allies, Americans, stranded Americans, and it cost us lives. Marines are dead because of it. Tomorrow, 9/11, the 20th anniversary, was supposed to be a major deal for the Biden presidency. If you think about his running mate, launched that strike to kill Osama bin Laden. Joe Biden was supposed to come in tomorrow and close the chapter in an iconic way on America's longest war. And he's not going to do that. He's not even going to speak tomorrow, Katie. Because what is he supposed to say? He blew it so badly, stranding Americans. We lost people we shouldn't have lost. We armed the enemy. And so now he's just going to go through ceremonies. What would he say anyway, Katie? Would it be well received by the crowd? I don't think so. Could he come up with the right words live in the moment to convey what he thought about it? I don't think he'd be able to pull it off. So instead, he's going to keep his mouth shut, the commander-in-chief, after we ended 20 years of war. So when you hear about this heaping praise on the Taliban, I get it. Dana's right. It's a delicate dance. You have hostages there, so you got to play nice. But it leaves a disgusting taste in the mouth of everybody that hears it because the Taliban put bullets through GIs' chests, shot limbs off of Americans. I have pictures on my phone, Afghan allies right now, whips on their back, brutality like you wouldn't believe.
Right.
So the reason we're doing this is strategic, but we're here because Biden's dumb decisions.
Right.
He got us into this situation where we have to heap praise, and he'll have to own that for the rest of his life.
Yeah, Geraldo, this is people are trying to act like in the administration that this just happened. There was no way to really plan for this, but at the same time, we planned for every single contingency. But Jesse's right. Everything that has happened with the last month with Afghanistan was a result of decisions that were made either by the administration recently or in years past. And it's not just about the 20th anniversary of 9/11 tomorrow, where as Americans, we should be remembering what happened that day. The Taliban is expected to announce their government. They are back in charge. They're going to embarrass us on 9/11, and yet they're saying, oh, they're very businesslike and we can work with them.
I think it was a bizarre idea to want peace by 9/11 and to work so hard to bring it about so that instead of grieving over the 20 years and the event itself, the trauma that scarred so many people, we're talking about the Taliban and whether or not they're going to keep their deal, and we're totally distracted. A couple of quick points. Number one, there was a second airplane out of Afghanistan today, another flight. They offered 40-odd American seats on that plane, 19 accepted. So the Taliban, think back to the 18 months when no GIs were killed in Afghanistan. Everyone thought that it was because we held Bagram and we could hold Bagram with 2,500 people, and why give up Bagram? It wasn't because of that. It was because the Taliban wanted desperately to succeed in the negotiation, so they played by their rules. They negotiated with President Trump. They negotiated with President Biden. They kept, as the flight indicates, they are keeping they are despicable, low down and dirty, and I hate to have to continually convince people how much I hate them, but the fact of the matter is they are abiding by their deal. I hate what they do. I hate the excesses. I hate their brutality, their cruelty, and all the rest of it. But the fact of the matter is they are playing by the rules that our negotiator and their negotiators.
So, Tyrus, speaking of playing by the rules, I have a feeling we're going to learn about maybe some pallets of cash or some recognition promises here in the next 6 months about what's really being promised.
This is the simple story of the frog and the scorpion. This is the woke administration. They defunded the police. They dealt the same way. They defunded our military. They made deals. They gave them all the awards before they actually did the work. And now we're surprised. And they come up with wonderful things like, can you believe there's women not in their government? That's our administration.
Right.
Scorpion and the frog. Enough said.
Enough said.
Wisdom with Tyrus.